Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm really happy to have Desiree Wang, China Country Head for JP Morgan Asset. I'm so glad her flight didn't get canceled yesterday.
Yeah, I'm so glad I can fly here. I just flew here, landed last night from Shanghai. Right?
And Desiree is going to talk to us about the China opportunity, diversity and inclusion, and also talent, all topics that you want to hear about.
Yeah.
So maybe I could kickstart just to start on diversity. Desiree, I know that having women in the workforce is a big priority for JP Morgan Asset, JP Morgan globally. And you're a female leader. We have Kamshing on the private banking side.
Yeah.
There are loads of female leaders. I wondered if you could just talk a bit about what JP Morgan does to encourage diversity and female representation.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we start our conversation with the diversity, which is one of our favorite topics to discuss about. And you asked about female representation, and I just give some data. Like JP Morgan globally, we have 290,000 employees, and half of which, 50% of that are women, including myself. And I have been working at JP Morgan for 15 years. In a few days, I'm going to celebrate my anniversary. I'm very proud of that. But honestly speaking, there are many more JP Morgan colleagues that have a longer tenure at JP Morgan. And many of them, and some of them are even like rejoiners back to JP. So we've been talking about why is that? And we think that that's the culture that set us apart, because in our DNA, we really strongly believe the diversified team, an inclusive work environment, and an equitable world really matter for us and help drive a good working outcome. And we talk about women, and we have a lot of, as you mentioned, we have a lot of senior women leaders at JP Morgan across different labs, and we have a lot of great initiatives and programs that are helping women, like Women on the Move. So we have the female women leaders to inspire and empower women in the workforce at JP. And we have a working family network, for example, that's also to connect people who have a working family, need to balance their work life, to put them together. And there is one program I really want to highlight here, because I think that's an amazing arrangement. It's a re-entry program, which was funded by our Asset and Wealth Management Global CEO, Mary Erdos, 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And this re-entry program targets people who take a break from work. And when they want to rejoin the workforce, we lend our support to them. So over the past 10 years, over like 500 people already participated in this program, and over 400 of them has been successfully placed with a full-time job in our company. And there is like cases like a female mom who took a 15-year break from work to raise her 4 kids. Mm-hmm. And then when she decided to come back to work, and we offer the opportunities. And specifically as an asset manager, we are JP Morgan Asset Management. A big part of our assets are managed by female or diverse portfolio managers, globally and in APAC. And also we offer a suite of products and strategies to help gear capital and investments towards advancing DEI in our community. And last but not least, my colleagues really want me to mention here is we, JP Morgan Asset Management, have been recently named as a best asset manager for diversity by Asian Investor Asset Management Awards 2023. I think that's a good testament to all the efforts we've done in this area.
Yeah, definitely. Desiree, just moving on to a slightly different topic, talent, which is somewhat related to women.
Yeah.
I guess one question I had was, JP Morgan runs a global business, but you're operating onshore in China as well, where rules and things might be a little different from the US. I just wondered, what are the biggest challenges you face hiring onshore?
Yeah. That's a great question. Every time we come to talent, we're talking about now the business, the biggest competition is a talent war we are facing. And we all know that asset management, wealth management is a business about people. So we need the people, and we invest in our people to make us different from others and to make our clients willing to entrust their assets with us. And we have to admit that you talk about China onshore, which I was quite focused on, that to find the right talents who will be able to bridge the local expertise with our international company. And sometimes we also hope that the talents can have the bilingual skills. It's very hard for us to find those type of talents. And this is a challenge not only faced by us, and I'm sure by a lot of other global companies coming into this market.
And I guess, I mean, the main question people are always curious about is, do you plan to hire? What are your hiring plans?
Yeah, we definitely not going to fire anybody.
That's great news.
And we are still expanding. We are still quite committed to this market. And I'm not sure whether anybody knows, but this is our plan in onshore China, which actually we have already executed. Part of that is we have a long established joint venture in China, which we run it together with our Chinese partner, because we are 49% minority shareholder of that company for 19 years, since 2004. We are very proud to announce lately we got the regulatory approval to acquire 100% ownership of this company. So we've been able to, and last month we just announced that we completed the rebranding of this company to JP Morgan Asset Management China. And to answer your question, so we are having 400 staff of this company joining JP Morgan family now in China. And that's the key focus of us for this year and years to come, is to successfully integrate these 400 people into the JP Morgan platform. And going forward, of course.
So no major hiring plans then?
Yes, but we continuously gauge the business needs, and we continuously go to market and find the right person.
Yeah. Right. I guess just touching on you fully acquired your asset management company onshore, as you mentioned, which is a big move, and it's hard to get and understand. These things are not easy to get in China, and you're somewhat in control of your own destiny, so to speak. I guess the question: what advice would you give to people who want to get full ownership? What are steps? What's the process like?
I have to say, I don't know. I look the audience. I'm not sure how much of you been working in China, try to go into China, etc. But I've been working my career on China, and this is the thing I always explaining to people about China is, when you look at China, China is not an if question. It's more of a one question, W-H-E-N, one question. The reason I'm saying that, because for if question, it's easy to answer for China, because we normally basically understand and can know that where it is heading to. So we know the simple way to answer a lot of those if questions. But the challenge of operating business in China is the one question. We don't know when it will come. We know the renminbi internalization. We don't know when it will come to the next stage. We've been talking about a pension and a private individual retirement pillar. We don't know when it will scale up. So the key question, the key challenge is people don't know the answer to the one question, the pace of a lot of things that's happening in China. And China is an amazing market. Sometimes things happen very fast. Sometimes things happen very slow. So my advice to a lot of people who want to do business in China, if you are committed to China and if you hold high conviction of this market is going to offer you massive opportunity in the long term, you're going to just stay invested in this market and stay focused in this market instead of in and out. And you are trying to time the market. No, it's very hard. And that's exactly what JP Morgan does. So we coming, as I said, we coming into the market, we set up the joint venture very early on in 2004, 19 years. It's a bumpy journey for the 19 years because we don't know whether we can take it over. The regulation is, there are so much uncertainty about the regulation, about the pace, etc. But we also see there are periods of time, everything accelerated. There are periods of time, things become quiet and a little bit slow. You just need to be there for the long term. You need to be there and stay patient. So that's absolutely I don't know whether I call it advice, but it's our takeaway for that.
Can I just ask you, now that you finally have full ownership, what are your plans? I know you're integrating and you're working on that, but are you able to shed any light on your plans now that you finally control this?
Now, I can be able to talk about this in more details in a few months' time, and that's $1 million question. And in short, our plan is definitely use this company as our main operating platform in onshore China. And we're super committed to invest all the resources needed to make this platform the best, the leading, as I mentioned, in the company in China. I always say that because of the combination I just talked about and the requirement for talent we're asking for, we really think we are the best positioned to be the most international local company, because we've been there for 19 years already, and the most local global company in China. So that's our very outstanding competitive advantage.
So Desiree, I just wanted to also ask you maybe to just change tack a bit. With China going through like a tough time the last 2 years, COVID, I think a lot of wealthy individuals now want to diversify. And as part of that, they're buying overseas assets. Yeah. So, QDII is there, QDLP. I wanted to know, what sort of demand you're seeing from investors. Are you seeing, rising demand? And what are they interested in buying?
Yeah. I think this is very interesting. I always like to talk about two underweights when we look at China. And one underweight is we talk about how underrepresented China is in global investor portfolios. But at the same time, you will be amazed and surprised to see how underrepresented global market is in Chinese investors' portfolio. So I don't have the latest data in hand, but I think the number of the financial households, the assets investing offshore is probably below 5%. So even if the needle moves by 1%, 2%, that's a big number. And you mentioned about QDII. I think I'm assuming every one of you knows what is QDII. So this is a quarter that allows people to invest offshore. And so far, I think there are around $160 billion a quarter in the market. But if you look at the QDII funds in the market, there are probably more than 200, but only $30-something billion in AUM for those QDII funds in the market. And also, you can see a big home equity buyers from the domestic investors. When they first do their offshore investments, most things they invest in are stocks, bonds issued by Chinese company going offshore. So they are still buying Chinese companies. But we start to see the trend of definitely the need for global diversification and a definitely need for a true global diversification, where you're not only buying offshore listed Chinese companies, you are buying the true global blue chip and other opportunities. So let's go back to my point is, we know the answer to the if question. Definitely there will be demand, and definitely the demand will pick up. We are gradually to see the one, so it's gradually picking up. And I would think that it takes time for people to have a great investment experience, and it takes time for investor education, takes time. And also this is a responsibility on all of us. We need to bring in a great products to onshore investors. And I think that we are very positive on the prospects for the QDI and our bond investments from Chinese investors.
And I guess another question I had, and I see the Q&As are coming up, I wondered what, I guess going back to the wealth creation theme, it used to be that in China it would be this big IPO machine, like tech entrepreneurs would, just go IPO and they'd raise all this money, and that would be the wealth creation. But we've seen crackdowns over the last few years. I just wondered, what do you think are the next wealth drivers for China?
Yeah. I think China ranked second. I read this. China ranked second in terms of number of millionaires and ultra high net worth individuals. And I also believe that with China on track to become the largest world economy, and the short-term disruption by COVID will not dent the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is we still believe that China's number of millionaires will double by 2026, and also talk about the new wealth creation coming from. We think there will be a lot of new sectors, because we see a rapid rise of the new emerging sectors like a new China economy type of things. And this is a very interesting contrast. If you look at the top 10 richest people in 2007, and you compare that list with the 2022, so 2007 versus 2022, you will see the 07 list. 7 out of the 10 most richest people are 7 out of 10 are from real estate sectors. And if you look at the list in 2022, the people are coming from a much more diversified list of industries and consumers, internet, hard technology, biopharmaceuticals, advanced manufacturing, etc. So we see the rapid rise of those new economy, emerging industries, and that's I think that's, and also you can see that from geographical location perspective, Tier 1 city remains a core, but you can still see the cluster be expanded to more like Tier 2 cities and surrounding areas. So I do think that China still presents great opportunity for in terms of the state wealth creation for asset and wealth managers.
I think I'll just take a couple of questions from the audience now.
Tough questions.
I guess one of the questions is, what's your view on the growth of the ETF market in China?
Very quick. It's growing super rapidly. And I think it will grow even more rapidly in coming years. And it has been growing at double digits, and it will continue to grow at double digits. I think it's now about like $200 billion, still a small, relatively small portion out of the whole $4 trillion mutual funds in China. But the portion of it is increasing. I hope I answered the question, but that's an area we're going to pay a lot of attention to in terms of our future build out of the onshore platform.
I see, okay. I think that wraps up our session, but thank you so much, Desiree, for sharing your thoughts with us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.